Hi there. Thank you for joining me today with the Keystone Grant Essentials. I'm Karen Arnold, and I'm happy to share with you some helpful tips for grant management for your Keystone Historic Preservation Grant with the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission. This quick training is to help you orient yourself with our quarterly reporting processes, final reporting processes, and other requirements that were articulated within either your Keystone Grant Agreement or within the Keystone Grant Program Handbook that you received. We'll also talk a little bit about the PAShare system and help orient you through all of the requirements or needed interaction that you may have with that system. So first things first, please keep me apprised of any changes or additions to your staff or consultants that should be listed as contacts in your PAShare grant record. I do use a distribution list for notifications for the primary contact as well, so it's helpful to make sure that I have accurate and up-to-date information of who is supposed to be receiving what. Also, as a funder, we do want to be an active partner in your project. In some cases, your project will require direct or frequent work with our other program areas, such as our community preservation coordinator, our Elizabeth Schultz, our survey coordinator, or our national review project teams. Your project might also require consultation with our office if you're using other state or federal grants that as match, and we need to coordinate that project review with those program areas to make sure that you stay in compliance with your other funding source. I also want to make sure that everyone is aware, if you have a construction category grant, that you will need to submit your plans and specifications for us for review, that all construction work must be reviewed prior to commencement to ensure that it meets the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. All of these plans are submitted through our PAShare system, and there'll be a quick introduction about how to do that within this presentation. Also, if nothing has changed since the application was submitted, you can certainly alert me to pull those items from the application portal and create a submission on your behalf. You may have noticed within the grant contract that you're required to provide verification of your matching funds, and you're to have your matching funds in place within 45 days of the execution of the grant contract. That verification can simply be reported to me on your first quarterly report. I do not need copies of your bank statements, but if you've received outside grant support, it's helpful to provide the source or the commitment letters just on to update your grant file record. Finally, if you're a construction category grant, you will have noticed that you do need and are reminded here that you do need to have an executed and current preservation covenant on file with the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission. You may have remembered there was an attestation in the application that the property owner was aware of that requirement. I do have a template that I shared with you when I executed the grant contract that you can be used and just updated with the requisite property information. Essentially, the property owner is agreeing to keep the property publicly accessible and that all future construction work will be done in consultation with the PHMC. You will need to find the property transaction record to capture the current legal property description of the parcel. And remember that the covenant must be signed prior to any reimbursement made on your grant award. Quarterly reporting is asked of all of our grantees in January, April, July, and October of the calendar year. We do provide a approved template that you can use. I generally send a reminder to the project contact towards the end of the quarter to alert them that the due date of that is coming up. So the large question that usually comes up is what to include in that quarterly reporting statement. I do like to have information such as what progress has been made, and if there's been changes to the methodology or approach of how you're completing your project, and any consultant or project team may have either been selected or may have been changed throughout the course of the project. Also, again, as your fundraising or progresses, or if there's matching funds verification that you want to share with me, that's the vehicle of which to do that. Your quarterly report may also include photographs, and they're very helpful to understand how progress is made in your project. Quarterly reports are generally done and are requested to be submitted through our PAShare system. I do want to reiterate that regular updating and quota reporting is imperative to keep me abreast of how your project is coming along, especially if you're experiencing delays that might require a potential contract extension for time towards the end of your project. All PHMC grants are required to acknowledge in some way that PHMC has supported your project. For construction category grants, we request that you post a project sign during the construction period, and specifications and artwork were distributed with the grant contract. It need only be posted during the active construction period, and you are asked to provide a photograph of that posted sign with your final report. If your project must acknowledge other funding sources, either elected officials, project team members, or it's permissible to include only the PHMC logo. And if you need that, please let me know and I'm happy to provide that artwork to you. Planning category grants are also asked to acknowledge the PHMC to provide verbiage on any work products that are produced as part of the project. We also encourage you to promote the project and PHMC's partnership in press releases, social media posts, or other programming that you might do within your organization. One way to encourage promotion of your project, and lastly stems from our statewide historic preservation plan, is our community initiative awards. Um, it's very easy to be part of this process. All you have to do with any social media campaigns that you're doing is use the hashtag preservation happens here. We do call the list of everyone who uses that hashtag and annually provides an award through the Community Initiative program, which I think is an interesting and excellent way to kind of celebrate all of the great projects that you're doing, and everyone across our program areas as well. It's been very successful the last couple of years, so I encourage you to use that hashtag if possible. Now, what you're probably most interested in is how to receive your your funding. If you might recall, these are not direct awards, but are reimbursement requests, and there's the complete instructions that were included in your handbook about how to submit reimbursement requests. These are made directly to the grant manager, so that's me, and includes proof of expenditures for both your PHMC and your matching share. I also want to encourage you and remind you that the Commonwealth is transitioning to ACH payments, or direct deposits rather. So I encourage you to update your payment information within the Office of the Budget's Vendor Management Services. Some grantees, particularly municipalities, have multiple bank accounts associated with their vendor profile. So please alert me if as to which account is the appropriate one for your particular project. Please don't forget to update the profile with vendor data management services throughout the life of the grant project. Should you change banking institutions or update your address, failure to complete those updates causes payment delays. And believe me, neither one of us enjoys those delays. Um, I also should note that reimbursements generally take about 30 days from the receipt of the paperwork that I receive until you receive your funding or reimbursement rather, and it is much faster if you're doing that through your ACH payment. Also, just a quick reminder that your final 20% of the grant reward is withheld until the final report is submitted and approved. Speaking of that final reporting, PHMC does provide the appropriate forms. Um, uh, I didn't send them out with the grant contract, but I usually notice as you're submitting your quarterly reports whether or not you're getting close to closing it out and need that form, but also feel free to reach out with me if you need it. Um, Another reminder that we do withhold the final 20% until that final report is submitted. And the purpose is really to ensure that the project is completed um, and, um, and the submission of the final report for our accounting. Final reports are due within 30 days of the conclusion of the grant period or within the final reimbursement invoice, whichever date is earlier. For the most part, it's not a very onerous final report. It includes a summary of all the work that was completed during the grant contract period, and there's a financial comparison of the initial budget and actual expenditures. In theory, this financial report should match that in your final reimbursement request. The final report also includes photographs of completed work, verification of the project sign for construction category grants, or there's a discussion of the project promotion or public benefit for planning category grants as well. Since I've talked a little bit about PAShare, I certainly want to orient you to how our new integrated submission platform works called PAShare. You may have searched through the system if you needed to identify your property's unique PAShare number during the application process. But we also use the PAShare throughout the grant program, our management side of this as well. If you're not familiar with PAShare, it's a new platform that we use that integrates all of our program areas, and the grant program is included within this. Grantees need only a free basic account to manage their PAShare and PAShare to manage their grant. The login credentials are the same and use the same Keystone login that the ESA application portal used. The grant manager has added a new project for you, and the primary project contact listed in the application um, was uh, included within that grant file, and the system and the app and that person should have received a system generated email once the grant contract was executed. You'll note that the PA share number was listed in the contract in the project summary. And of course, it's one of three numbers listed and it differs from your ESA and SAP contract number. So I apologize that there are three numbers, but for the most part, just pay attention to your PA share number. How grantees use this, obviously, if you're a planning category and you're using either grant funded cultural resource surveys or National Register nominations, all of it funnels through there for review and submission. But for our main grantees, you use this to submit your plans and specifications for a preliminary project review, for your quarterly reports, submission of your grant funded final work products, and your final reports. I'd like to say that the system uses everything, but for the most part, I do ask you not to submit reimbursement requests through the PAShare system and to send that to me via email. And that covenant documents should not be submitted through PAShare since I need the original signed document itself. Just to reorient yourself, you can link to the PAShare system throughout our website. There are several pages dealing only to PAShare. But if you need the landing page, it's phmc.pa.gov/PA-share. Again, if you'll need a Keystone login, and even if you already have one, you will still need to register in PAShare with the same login credentials. If you aren't sure and try to register for a new account, you'll get an error message to let you know that your profile is already in place and they're tied to your email address. Just note that if you try to circumvent it and proceed as a guest, you will not have access to the grant record. So if you do have trouble signing in, please don't hesitate to reach out to either myself or the help desk to make sure that we can resolve your login problems. Once you're able to log in, before explain how to process all of the quarterly reports or other interactions that you might use with PAShare, I should probably orient you to the main dashboard. You'll notice there's a gray navigation bar on the left-hand side of the page that allows you to navigate to my projects or past submissions, requests or of our offices or our responses. I should note that if you're not familiar with the nomenclature of SHPO, that's our office name, which stands for the State Historic Preservation Office. You can view the project itself, your current grant project, I should mention, from the left navigation bar under My Projects. If you were listed as a project contact, then My Projects will show you and all of the projects that you are associated with. You can always note your PAShare project number from this screen. And if you click the Go To box, you'll open your grant record and be able to see all of the information previously submitted by other project personnel during the life of the project. I see that as a very helpful benefit to our PAShare record. I also keep track of your grant contract start and end date, grant balance transactions, and project correspondence on your grant file. Back from the new dashboard, you're able to add new items to the grant record through the submit screens. Again, items that you would submit would be your plans and specification for review, quota reports, grant work products, or final reports. So to do so, from the main dashboard or home screen, you want to select the blue Submit button along the top navigation bar. From there, the Submit screens will open and allow you to, and if you go to the project supplement, you're able to submit anything to our office. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. The Submit home screen will open that you can see that you can submit anything to our office in any program area from this screen. Since your grant project was already created by me, any information you submit should be directed as a project supplement. Anyone who is listed as a project contact may submit to the grant file, and both the grantee and the grant manager can add additional project contact people at any time through the project contact tile. Both the project contact and the project supplement paths are similar, so I'm just going to show you the project supplement screens. That is located on the bottom left corner in the gray navigation bar, or from the project supplement tile in the middle of the screen. The project supplement screen, you'll be able to enter your project number, and it'll be a number that's 2022, P as in Papa, R as in Romeo, and a subsequent 5-digit number. There are no hyphens or spaces in that number. Remember, the PAShare number is found on your grant contract in the project summary, or again in PAShare record itself under My Projects on the left navigation bar of the main dashboard. I should also remind you that if your project requires consultation because you're using other state or federal funding, there's a slightly different process, and just contact me and we can walk through that together. If you're not listed as a project contact, you'll get an error message that you're not authorized to view the project details. It's a system safeguard to protect your project information. Please contact me and verify that I've either entered the correct credentials for you, or perhaps maybe the updated project contact is not appropriate in the file. So if you have entered the correct number and are listed as a project contact, the project supplement submission screen will open, and you'll notice that it has 3 fields. The project supplement description is at the top, and you're able to provide a brief description of what you are submitting to our office. And this can be as simple as 2022 fourth quarter report. It need not be very exhaustive. You'll also have opportunity to upload a PDF in the project document section. This is where you would actually upload the actual report. And then the third item is project photographs. You're welcome to upload individual photographs here, but I'm also happy to have them collated into a single PDF document and uploaded in the document section if it's easier for you. Realize that with planning grants, you may not have photographs to submit, but I do appreciate retaining photographs of public meetings or consultants at work, but they may not be appropriate for all projects. So once you have all the documentation that you have uploaded that you're ready to submit, you simply submit in the bottom, you click the button in the bottom right-hand corner that says Submit to SHPO. I should note that the PAShare system will send you an automated email to let you know that something was submitted, and then a second one once I've reviewed it. You can always log back in as a user to see my review comments. So just a reminder, as expectations for grantees, we do require that grantees are submitting their plans and specifications for review and approval prior to starting construction. And construction projects do require a declaration of covenants. All projects require quarterly reporting, reimbursement requests with posting of a PHMC project sign or acknowledgement of our support of your project, and a final report. And just one final reminder that final reimbursement, which is the 20% of the grant award, is held until the project is complete. It's very imperative that you stay up to date with your grant administration. It helps me help you navigate not only the grant, the Commonwealth funding, but also your project as a whole. I have provided a couple items for you to help you know where to go for additional help. Please know that as your grant manager, I am always accessible to answer any questions that you have as they pop up throughout the course of your grant contract. Don't hesitate to reach out to me. I try to be very accessible. I've also provided a website to where to access PAShare and um, the help documents as well. And the help desk is an email address at pashare@pa.gov. Finally, you can find more information on including the grant guidelines on the PHMC website, and you can always reorient yourself with this training. It's available on our Trails of History YouTube videos. Thank you very much for joining me today, and I wish you luck in your PHMC Keystone Grant project. Thank you.